Marvel fans, listen up. We've got some new updates about the MCU that are absolutely blowing my mind. I'm talking a ton of new info about Daredevil Born Again, including some new set photos, crazy reveals about the plot, and word of a second season already being developed. On top of that, we've got some new details and teasers about Spider-Man 4, how that's going to tie into Daredevil and the Thunderbolts and Captain America 4. I'm telling you right now, this stuff is freaking awesome. It feels like a turning of the page. It feels like the stuff that the MCU fans are desperate and hungry for, and I think it's happening at an incredible time. Because I think all Marvel fans admit at this point we could use a couple of W's. So smash a freaking like on this video and let's begin. So first up, we're getting a ton of really cool details all about Daredevil Born Again. This is a massive deal for Marvel Studios. This is a show that is going to take a very different approach than a lot of the other shows that they've done on Disney Plus. The show is going to be 18 episodes, and that means a whole bunch of filming. The cast and crew are going to be filming on this show for all of this year. We've seen some absolutely incredible set photographs of what Matt Murdock looks like in his new lawyer outfits, what Vincent D'ofrio looks like as the Kingpin in the show. It's freaking cool, man. And on top of that, Vincent D'ofrio and Charlie Cox have been doing some Comic-Cons, just hyping everything up and talking about what's going on. And D'ofrio has confirmed recently that they are already planning for a season 2. This is from a Newsweek article where he did actually just sit down and talk to them. So it says here, the actor explained that the new show might be different to what fans of the original are expecting. However, it is also something that will provide gigantic payoffs in both its first and second season. D'ofrio added that both Cox and Berthall play a major part of the show. He says here, we've only just started shooting. I think we're a couple of weeks in, and the show is going to be very, very different than the Netflix show, and it's so exciting because what we're doing is quite something. He goes on to say, I think it's something that people are not going to expect, but always with these Marvel old comic stories that are being revisited and reinvented by us actors and the writers, and the main thing is to answer the fans. To give them what they want, but try to be original in some way at the same time. And so that's what we're looking to do on the show. It's definitely an original way to look at this, and it's really deep, really emotional. And by the second season, there are gigantic payoffs in the first season too, but I can't say much about that. But the fans are gonna get what they want. It's really quite cool to be doing it. Now, he goes on to talk specifically about Charlie Cox and Jon Berthall here, saying these are two guys that, just as men and actors themselves, are legitimate people, and I love those guys, Jon and Charlie. I just love them. They're just awesome, good people, and their acting ability speaks for itself. They're both very good, and it's nice. It's always nice to come on set, and you know that the other main actors are as prepared as anybody could be. It shortens the day, and that kind of preparation lends itself to a great scene. So again, just super cool updates, but he actually drops a lot of info there. Number one, he talks about how there's already going to be a second season and there will be massive payoffs in that season, but he's also talking about how Jon Berthall's Punisher is going to play this huge role in the series. So it's awesome, and it's really good to hear all of these different updates, but after that, the Cosmic Circus dropped some crazy details about what they've heard, which give even further context to what Vincent D'ofrio is talking about and what a big deal the Kingpin is about to be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So in an article titled What I Heard, Kingpin's Rise to Power, Alex Perez goes into details about new information he's gotten from sources about what the Kingpin is going to be doing in Daredevil Born Again and in the MCU. But before we get into what's actually in this article, I think a quick TLDR is in order. If you weren't aware, there are long-standing rumors that the Kingpin was going to be running for the mayor of New York City. This is going to be a plot line that takes place in the Echo show, in the Daredevil Born Again show, and even into Spider-Man 4. That has long been established, but it definitely looks to be even more confirmed now with additional details. They say in the article here that as of now, it is confirmed that Vincent D'ofrio will portray Kingpin in several projects in the MCU, primarily in the upcoming Echo and Daredevil Born Again series, and they talk about how there had been established rumors that these stories will focus on William Fisk's rise to power and his attempt to be the mayor of New York City. They go on to say in the article, according to our sources, the rumor regarding Fisk seeking a political seat are true. However, this plot point will not occur only in one project and immediately be resolved in the same project. The storyline of Fisk seeking the mayoral seat of New York City will be explored in many projects directly while potentially affecting other projects indirectly. One source has even specified that the storyline will mirror elements from the Dark Reign storyline from the comics. When asked for clarification, it is implied that the street-level stories of the MCU will be tackling more mature themes, similar to how the Netflix shows approach Daredevil and Jessica Jones, respectively. The story of Fisk's path to mayoral election is expected to start in the upcoming Disney Plus series Echo. Given how the source has described Dark Reign arc as one of the inspirations for this storyline, it is likely that at some point in Daredevil Born Again, Wilson Fisk will succeed and be elected as the mayor of New York City. And they go even further, saying, as for how the story will be explored in projects directly, one project we've heard Fisk's mayoral run will be an essential element to the story is in the upcoming Spider-Man 4 film. As we've previously mentioned, the story will be affected by the aftermath of Daredevil Born Again. Back then, they could not talk about what that aftermath was. However, several of our sources have informed us that the Kingpin's true motive and his mayoral campaign is to track down and work of the street-level vigilantes that could threaten his rule. While there are a number of characters on Fisk's list, some old and some new, we're being told by our sources that characters like Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, Matt Murdock, and Spider-Man are at the top of Fisk's list of vigilantes. This is where the indirect connections to the other street-level projects weighs in. Fisk's election could be felt in projects such as Armor Wars, Captain America New World Order, Thunderbolts, and even Miss Marvel, although he carries a connection to the current director of the CIA, Valentina Allegra Di Fontana. It's unlikely she will be available to assist him in his current situation. We're told that this will leave Fisk no choice but to likely outsource his matters to a number of contractors to handle the vigilante crisis in New York City. We've also been told that this is potentially a plot point for the upcoming Spider-Man 4 film. Okay, so there's a lot in there. I think the number one thing is that they are corroborating the rumor that Fisk is going to become mayor in Daredevil Born Again, and then that story is going to lead to what goes on in Spider-Man 4. Now, we have actually talked about that all the way back in last year because I was pretty damn sure that's how it all was going to go down, and a lot of things that I was personally hearing behind the scenes made me think that's the way it was going to happen. But it really feels like this is a massive thing for Marvel that they want to have linger for a long time. It could even go all the way into the next season of the Daredevil show. It's also really interesting that this is going to happen at the same time that Ross, the Red Hulk, is going to be the president of the United States. So you're literally going to go into a phase of Marvel where you're going to have the mayor of New York City, who is an incredibly powerful politician, be the Kingpin, and the president of the United States will literally be Red Hulk. So we're going into a really weird time over at Marvel where you're going to have these villains, essentially. I mean, the Red Hulk's kind of like a anti-hero at some point, but, you know, kind of villainous. Those characters are going to have huge political power, and the heroes themselves are likely going to be sort of either like persecuted or, you know, kind of tracked down. Like, here's the thing. In the Devil's Reign comic book, Wilson Fisk, as the mayor of New York City, completely outlaws superheroes. Superheroes cannot operate in New York City, and instead, all of these villains that are like okayed by the Kingpin or essentially working for the mayor's office or brought in by the mayor are seen as legitimate. It was really interesting in that comic run because the vigilantes really did have to act like vigilantes, running away from the police, running away from the mayor, and also dealing with actual criminals. And I mean, even the example of Armor Wars and some of these other projects being affected by this, that's huge. I mean, again, the mayor of New York City, Wilson Fisk, the freaking Kingpin, that's a really, really powerful person. Somebody that would have purview of things like the old Avengers Tower, a lot of the Stark tech that would come out of New York City. And it's also just crazy to think that Kingpin could just get on the phone with the Red Hulk, who's the president, and even get more assistance in whatever he would want to do. Now, let's talk about Spider-Man 4. I mean, Vincent D'ofrio literally just said at a Comic-Con that eventually he's going to kick Spider-Man's ass. And it really seems like the Kingpin himself is going to be this big bad as the mayor of New York City well past the Daredevil Born Again season, at least season 1. So him as the big bad of the next Spider-Man movie makes absolute sense. I mean, of course, fans of the 90s Spider-Man show absolutely love the Kingpin as a villain for Peter Parker and how that whole dynamic went down. And a lot of what happens in that show was the Kingpin hiring villains to go take out Spider-Man, or Spider-Man interfering with villains that were on the payroll for the Kingpin. And it seems like what you're going to see in that street-level Spider-Man 4 movie will be Peter Parker and a bunch of other vigilantes, maybe the Punisher, maybe Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Daredevil, of course, Kate Bishop, Echo. Other heroes on the ground level will sort of assemble their own ground-level vigilante Avengers fighting against all these different villains in New York City. And I expect you might see crazy Spider-Man villains like they've done in a lot of Peter Parker's movies coming in and having the MCU version of some of the Sinister Six fighting against Peter Parker. It frankly seems like an incredible idea and just something that Marvel fans are going to love, man. We want these street level stories and the fabric of what's going on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to be important, impactful, and huge in its scope. Like, these are really big ideas. President Red Hulk, Mayor of New York City Kingpin. That's crazy. Doing the Dark Reign as like a sort of saga for the street level heroes and characters. Brilliant stuff. I absolutely love it. So let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. Smash a like on this video. And if you want to watch more, why not check out this video I recently made about all the crazy drama about the next coming Star Wars movie.